Many people buy things online because it's convenient. However, one couple in Chanute learned that convenience could be a headache. I'm Amber Jenkins with a story of online shopping gone wrong.
Plus, we'll hear from a scam victim who received a fake Facebook message that her mother had died in a car crash. And the latest on a grass fire that burned 100 acres near Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin resident is warning others about a cruel trick played on her through Facebook Messenger. This is KOAM News at 6. That woman named Brooke says she received a message from someone who she thought was her grandmother on Facebook. The message claimed that Brooke's mother had died in a car crash. It was not true. Later, she received another message from someone she thought was her mother's old boss asking when the funeral was. At that point, she started thinking it might be real, so she called her mother, who answered, calming her fears.
Verify everything, even if it's believable and it's off an account that's believable. Just call and try to verify everything before you open anything, open any attachments.
Even though there were links in the messages, Brooke did not click on them. She has reported that case to police. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt says FBI agents will not be allowed to audit concealed carry permits collected by county sheriffs. Schmidt sent a letter to the FBI Director, Christopher Wray, saying Missouri law prohibits federal, state, and private entities from having access to records of Missouri residents who have concealed carry permits. He also contended the audits would violate residents' Second Amendment rights. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation has launched a criminal probe amid allegations a state agency misspent public funds and its top official abused his position. The Commissioners of the Land Office, or CLO, oversees $2.7 billion in real estate and other investments to support public education. The Tulsa World reported last month that the CLO's secretary, Elliot Chambers, fired the agency's internal auditor after she questioned him about his personal investment relationship with Victorum Capital, which the agency was paying as a consultant on investments. The agency later settled with the internal auditor, giving her $25,000 in back pay and paying her attorney $15,000. Chambers announced that he will resign on August 3rd. Let's check in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
The Catholic's pretty quiet once again, Dow, but with a lot of dry air in place. We went from a mild start in the 60s to highs near 100 this afternoon. So it was hot today, even though it still looks nice to get this evening started from 7th and Rangeline. In fact, the entire area is seeing mostly sunny skies to get this Thursday evening underway. Any big systems with rain or storms well to the south of the region, and there is like a weak boundary to the west that I'm keeping an eye on over the next few days. In the short term, though, it's quiet to start the evening up, but it is still hot out there. Most spots between 95 and 100 degrees. But we don't have a heat index because our humidity is so low. In fact, it's ranging between 20 and about 36%, almost bone dry air, relatively speaking. But it's that same dry air that's going to take us out of the 90s this evening, down through the 80s, and eventually most of us around 74 for tonight, Dow. Unfortunately, even with rain chances possible by this weekend, I'm tracking more summer heat certainly by next week. We'll break it all down here in a few.
All right, we'll see you then. This hot, dry weather leads to concerns of more grass fires across the 4 states. A hay baler sparked a grass fire yesterday that burned 100 acres at Wildwood Ranch west of Joplin. No one was injured, but the fire risk in the area does remain high. And the chief of the Carl Junction Fire Department is asking people not to burn anything during these conditions. He says the fires can quickly grow out of control.
You know, if you can hold off, if it's something that you can wait, please do, because that's where we're at. It's deceptively dry, and fires will spread out of control very quickly. And I don't want people to lose property. I don't want, you know, just simply because you were doing some maintenance burning, you end up burning down a shed.
Experts recommend not leaving outdoor cooking appliances unattended while in use during these dry conditions. If you're unsure if a burn ban is in effect in your area, well, you can check out a list on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. In Benton County, Arkansas, it's more than a suggestion. A judge there has issued a countywide burn ban. They also say to use extreme caution when grilling food. Visitors to Baxter Springs, Kansas can look forward to a new roadside park near the museum along Route 66. The park is going to be funded in part with the help of a $40,000 state grant. An official says the new roadside park will allow both local and international tourists to experience the community.
We are in the process of building a roadside park, a Route 66 roadside park. And as part of that, we're going to have a mural that celebrates not only the history of Baxter Springs, but also the Southeast Kansas region. And also Baxter Springs history as the first cow town in Kansas.
The Baxter Springs Museum is free to all visitors. Coming up, we're going to go to the Pittsburgh YMCA to see some real-life princesses. And later, highlights from the British Open Championship. That's in sports. If you think princesses are only in fairy tales, well, think again. The Pittsburgh YMCA hosted their annual Princess Camp. KOAM photojournalist Carrie Worthen takes a look.
Here it comes. So the Princess Camp this year, it's just a 3-day camp in the mornings for girls to dance and have fun. And we've been doing it for at least 5 years every summer as just a fun little dance camp to have here.
Can you show me how to point your toe? Point the other toe.
We love seeing it be a positive experience for them because they do get to dance and have fun, but they also get to act like princesses, and we love just seeing those smiles on their faces, see their self-esteem as, you know, being a princess or having magic, and we just want to continue to empower them to have that positivity and have that joy and know that we do think that all of them are princesses.
Good job, good tippy toe walk. Very pretty, okay, very good. Okay, where do you look?
My favorite Disney princess is Mulan because she defies all odds.
What about you? You like Elsa? Very good.
Over the course of the 3 days, princesses make their own crowns, wands, and unicorn headbands. A little bit later, folks in Southeast Kansas got a chance to meet a 2-time NHRA world champion.
Plus, even though I'm tracking rain chances for the weekend, that doesn't stop me, unfortunately, from tracking more heat by next week. Forecast next. I'll tell you what, it would be nice if we got some solid rain chances in here because goodness knows we need a decent downpour across much of the area. You can see on the updated drought tracker, though, unfortunately, the dry air and the dry soil, that is, at least has expanded. Most of us along the Interstate 44 corridor now finds ourselves in a moderate drought, while we've actually had to expand abnormally dry conditions to cover more of our northern and western counties. But I do see some rain chances in the forecast by this weekend. It's not going to scrub out this drought that we're starting to see take hold, but any rain that comes our way, we'll certainly take it. In the meantime, though, we kept things hot once again today. Mid-90s the other afternoon. We dropped back actually into the lower to middle 60s again this morning with a lot of dry air in place, but that dry air heats up fast during the day. And that's exactly what happened, pushing 100 this afternoon. So it may look nice from Lander Chevrolet, the live camera overlooking Interstate 44, looking back toward the south and east from that vantage point. And it may look nice from 7th and Rangeline. But unless you really love this weather, it does not feel nice. 98 degrees is what your air temperature at Joplin Regional, but it actually feels just a hair cooler because of that light east breeze and really dry air, checking in that humidity at 26%. Everyone's in the mid 90s to 100 degrees, but again, we don't have a real heat index because our humidity is almost, you could argue, bone dry, anywhere from 20 to 36%. This is dry air that thankfully will at least stick around and allow temperatures to cool off again after sunset. We'll fall through the 90s, 80s, eventually down to 74. Unfortunately, a more milder start for the morning ahead, but at least a chance to get a break from the heat temporarily. The Skywatch storm tracker has kept things pretty quiet throughout the day around our area. Our stalled out front to the south keeps any better storm chances along the Gulf. A weak Frontal boundary out west is trying to get together. That's going to try to come into play with some rain chances by this weekend, along with other upper level waves that'll ride along the ridge to the west and come on in with that northwest flow of the jet. All that's going to try at least give us some rain chances before the heat really kicks in next week. In the short term, though, let's say mostly clear skies for the evening, maybe a little more in the way of cloud cover by the time we hit sunrise, but that won't stop us from at least getting a little break from the heat. A lot of us in the lower to middle 70s. Then we'll have to go back into the upper 90s for highs, with the future track here kind of underdoing expected cloud cover. I'm expecting partly sunny skies for the afternoon and maybe at times a random storm. 74 in the morning, 93 by noon. Unfortunately, we're back near 98. Humidity might be a tad higher, but it should not feel very sluggish outside. Maybe a stray storm by Friday evening. Dry to start Saturday out, and then maybe some few isolated storms as we stay in the 90s again for Saturday. Here's Sunday. This is our best shot at the extended forecast for scattered rain and thunderstorms, even though most of that wants to stay to the east of the region. We'll still try to cash in on those rain chances and allow us to drop back to 94 for highs on Sunday. But then 99, mostly sunny on Monday. The upper ridge really builds in by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Down. In fact, Tuesday's high of 104. Last time I forecasted a number that high, August of 2012, and we know how much of a scorcher that summer was for us.
104 actual temperature.
Actual temperature.
Wow, I don't want to know what the heat index is going to be.
Hopefully stays low or close to it.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Hey, a local couple wants to warn others after what they described as a frustrating online buying experience. What they bought online was a car, but they say it's turned into a great big headache. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has details.
In today's era, convenience is important, but at what cost? A couple in Chanute, Kansas has learned that seeking convenience when buying a car online can cause more stress than going to the dealership. Voom is an online used car dealership based in Texas that promotes the ease of buying a car online and having it delivered to you. However, Parker Stapp and Shauna Buckwood experienced headache rather than convenience.
In the beginning, it was super convenient because we're busy working, full-time jobs, and the convenience of being able to buy a car online was super helpful. We went online, picked out a car, they sent us the paperwork, we signed our documents, sent them back, and they delivered the car right to our front door. So it sounded amazing and perfect.
Parker and Shauna knew something was wrong when they went to the DMV and left empty-handed.
So come to find out, we started researching it a little bit more. They sent the title to our local DMV. The DMV received the title, but they never sent the check or any other proof of purchase from us covering the tax, title, and registration that we paid for, or a bill of sale or anything. So we were never able to register that car.
While Voom was still processing registration paperwork, they kept sending the couple temporary tags in the meantime. Texas temporary tags.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever you have a temp tag on your vehicle, whatever state you're in, that temp tag has to be from that state. So legally, even though they're sending this, it's not legal.
Parker and Shauna sought out Voom for a car because they thought it would be easy and seamless.
So the stress of it all causes tension. And, you know, it's like...
It was so stressful for us because we were... The biggest thing that I that I had the hardest time with, that was making me the most angry, was I have to pay for this car I literally cannot drive it. We had that car for 10 months. Out of that 10 months, I could only legally drive that car for 4 months.
The couple decided to sell the car back to Voom, which is a long process itself, but at least the nightmare was behind them.
Still a long process, but I felt like at that point we were reaching a resolution.
Parker and Shauna wants potential car buyers to be fully aware of the risks of buying cars online. In Chanute, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
KOAM reached out to Vroom, but we have not yet received a response. Still ahead, the Joplin Outlaws aim to take over first place in the Mink League South Division tonight, and Pittsburgh gets a visit from a two-time NHRA World Champion. Jacob Leonard joins us with details up next.
The Joplin Outlaws are on a 3-game winning streak. That streak has the Outlaws just a half game behind the Sedalia Bombers for first place in the Mink League South Division. And Joplin has a chance to push that winning streak to 4 and take over first place tonight, hosting the Bombers. That one will begin at 7 o'clock in Joplin. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. Well, folks in Southeast Kansas get a chance today to meet a 2-time NHRA World Champion drag racer, Megan Meyer-Lingner, 2015 graduate of Pittsburgh State University. Lingner brought her dragster into Pittsburgh's Block 22 this evening, taking pictures with fans. Now, this thing's top speed, by the way, 285 miles per hour. The former Gorilla actually retired from racing a couple years ago. She's coming out of retirement to compete tomorrow and Saturday at the 60th anniversary Nitro Chaos at Mocan Dragway.
I raced at Mocan back when, ever since I was a little kid. So I'd bring my junior dragster out here starting at 10 years old. And then I naturally wanted to go to Pitt State because the drag strip is just right down the road, but also they have a really good program at the College of Technology. It's really special to have the Nitro Chaos come here to Mocan for the first time. And it's just something that I had to do as soon as I heard it was going to be at Mocan, because Mocan and Pitt State is my home track.
The Kansas City Royals finish up the first half of the season with a 4-game series on the road against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Royals are without 10 players for this series, with those guys being unvaccinated and the series being played in Canada. And that includes the team's only All-Star, Andrew Benintendi, and other starters like Whit Merrifield and Hunter Dozier. Now, the show goes on, though. The Royals have called up 8 minor leaguers for their trip to Toronto today. And Game 1 of that series is tonight. It's already started with no score in the first. We'll have the latest from this one right here at 10. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they wrap up their series with the Dodgers tonight. The Cards aiming for the series win after splitting the first 2 games. Now, this one also in the early stages with no score in the first. Now, finally, today's the opening round of the Open Championship. Tiger Woods looking for major win number 16 of his career. Today, though, didn't go well. Misses the par putt on the 4th hole. Tiger 4 over through 4 holes today. The struggles would continue from the fairway here. This one comes up well short in the valley, short of the green. The very next shot, Tiger runs it right on by everything. Woods goes 5 over today in round 1. 25-year-old Cameron Young from the United States shoots an 8 under 64 today. He leads after the first round. And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Lee McCaslin served in the U.S. Navy from 1944 to 1946. His hometown, McCune, Kansas. And we are proud to salute Petty Officer 3rd Class Lee McCaslin. He's a 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The last living World War II Medal of Honor recipient is honored in D.C. after his death. Also, a new report today showed that not only are consumers getting walloped by inflation spikes, but so are producers. And more revelations in the Brittany Griner case as the American basketball star heads back to a Russian courtroom. Those stories, KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Now, it's not every day you see a man drag an alligator by the tail through a park, I hope. Luckily, this case, it was all caught on camera. Look at this. This was the moment that Markel White dragged that 7-foot-long gator by the tail in Bowles Ford Park in Savannah, Georgia. White says it was hiding behind the swing set and he didn't want anyone to get blindsided and attacked. No, that would be bad. He says the bigger issue at hand was the tall grass where you couldn't see the gator. An official says she's been pushing for the city to maintain that park's tall grass for years to prevent instances from this happening again. All the motivation you need to maybe mow the lawn, whether you live in Alabama or not.
Maybe.
Who knows what critters might be hiding in those weeds. The weather, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, and unfortunately it just gets hotter by the middle of next week, potentially near 104 by Tuesday, but we'll just stay in the mid to upper 90s for the weekend.
Final sports note.
Former Missouri Southern baseball standout Jordan Fitzpatrick signed a pro contract on Monday, played his first game on Wednesday. You can check out that full story on our website.
Wow. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.